I'm talking with.
So my name is Tom Martin from Vancouver.
And what do you do, Tom?
So I have a legal tech company called LawDroid.
And what does LawDroid do? And droid is D-R-O-I-D, like Android, obviously.
Like R2Ds here.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So what LawDroid does, it's a legal AI company that's dedicated to helping lawyers and law firms automate their office.
So what does that mean? Like, I'm a lawyer, what does it do for me then as a result of that?
So there's two categories. There's bots, and then there's voice. And so the bots, it's actually a suite. There's reception bot, paralegal bot, and a legal health check bot. And reception, it receives people on your website, tries to convert them to leads.
Right.
Paralegal bot takes care of like the standardized questions and intake,
right?
Document collection. And then you have the health check bot, which is just triage legal issues and really helps you to get deeper into the weeds with a particular potential client.
When did you start the company?
2 years ago.
Where'd you get the idea to say, okay, I'm going to do this?
Well, so one thing is I have dabbled in legal and tech for the past 15 years. I'm a lawyer myself for 20 years, and solving a lot of my own problems. But not that I have a ton of problems, but some. And so 2 years ago, I read this article about Joshua Browder. And so I have to admit that that's where I got my inspiration, is that I saw him doing the do not pay bot, right? Where he got people out of parking tickets, like 150,000 at the time.
Right.
And literally the hairs on the back of my neck and my arms stood up thinking, this is a huge opportunity. And it's one I didn't want to miss.
So you said, that's it, I'm doing this. That fast?
Pretty much,
really? Yeah. So what did you do? Where were you working at that time?
Well, my own firm.
Okay.
For a dozen years.
As a law firm. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm fortunate enough that I have good help, good staff, good lawyers that work for me.
Right.
And so they were able to help me, leverage that practice so that I continue to manage it. But at this point, it's so systematized, with the systems that I've created, that I could also dedicate time to this.
Yeah, so that kind of covered my next question. How do you make that transition from here to there? I mean, you had a law firm.
Right.
Law firm can generate some revenue. The family isn't going to go hungry.
Yeah.
If Dad runs out and starts LawDroid and quits his day job.
Exactly.
So do you still have the law firm today? Is it still run? Okay. And from LawDroid 2 years ago to where it's at today, has there been a low point where you go, is this going to make it or not? Maybe it hasn't happened yet because it's a relatively short period of time and you're probably pretty optimistic.
I think anybody would be lying if they said that.
No, it's been great all the way.
Yeah. Well, we were talking a little bit earlier about family, and sometimes I talk to my wife about what I'm doing, and she just kind of looks at me like, well, what is this? But there's been ups and downs, but I think especially lately there's been a lot of traction. The bots have been picking up. People. Right. It was actually once I reframed them and named them reception bot, paralegal bot, legal health check bot, it clicked for people. Like they understood what it's supposed to be. And then the voice that we have now is a voice assistant specific for the legal industry that works on top of Clio. So schedule appointments, create tasks, all that kind of stuff.
How many people do you have working with you at LawDroid?
There's only about 4 right now. We're small.
Well, that's okay. There's other companies I have here. I had no idea they were getting so much done with 4 people. I was guessing 40 or 50, and I was blown away. The people that you had to go out and hire that were different than hiring a law firm, who are those people?
Oh, definitely. Well, I mean, the biggest investment, and the first one, is your development partner. And so it took a while to find somebody. You have to develop trust, working on smaller projects, communication style that works for both of you. And we all work remotely.
Because you're not a technologist by training and what you did.
I have some basic, PHP, HTML, CSS skills, which are really outdated now.
Right. So you couldn't do the coding all the way through this? No. How do you, and that's pretty common from entrepreneurs. They don't have the technical chops to get done what needs to be done to deliver their goals or their vision.
Right.
How does one that's like you, where you're a practicing lawyer, I understand what you're saying from PHP and different things like that, go to the point where you can start a company that's based on machine learning and hire people that can help with that? You started to allude to it maybe with the trust and the relationship of working with people.
Yeah, you have to, the people are the foundation, and you have to trust them, and they have to have skills and talent. But I think it's just a matter of conviction, really. You just need to know that you see what it can be.
Right.
You see the opportunity, but you also see the promise. And dedicating yourself to it and working at it like anything else. You spend 10,000 hours on something, you become an expert.
Right.
And I know that I've learned a great deal in the past 2 years.
When you also in those 2 years, there's been moments, there's got to be a moment where you go, this is going to work. I now see it for sure that connecting the dots here is going to work. Have there been those moments too?
Yeah, I think one example of that is I have a client who is using the reception bot. So it's on his website and it's interacting with his visitors. Now I have to give him a ton of credit, okay, because he has so much traffic going to his site that he naturally is going to convert a whole bunch of leads. But when we married what he was doing with his ebook and his notoriety together with the chatbot, one time I had to review what he was up to because I was getting so much volume. 50% of my bandwidth was him. And I was like, what is going on? And he was converting 2 to 3 leads per day off of the chatbot. And so that, just for that alone, when you add that to his traditional marketing that he has going on, was very significant.
Yeah. So then just go out and find other people like him. How do you get your work today? Word of mouth, relationships. How does it come?
A lot of it right now is word of mouth.
Yeah.
The people that I've worked with, they've had good experiences,
right? And
they tell other people. I come to conferences like this and happen to meet some more people or get introduced, like just this morning, to a new potential client, and so that's been great. But I also started reaching out through Lawyerist recently to try to reach more lawyers that are forward-thinking and progressive.
I'm thinking of another question. The entrepreneur and founder is a huge salesperson in this thing because of their beliefs. You just don't hand that off to another salesperson to go out and talk to everybody. I don't know how you view it, but it's a huge role that the entrepreneur has to be, one, in hiring, and two, in selling. Those are roles that just aren't going to disappear very soon, if ever.
True. I wish I could clone myself.
Yeah, that's tough.
And, can't quite automate that into a bot yet. I wish I could.
So, to wrap it up, what's the number one thing you would tell an entrepreneur then today when they're thinking about doing this? It's the time. It takes time, or?
Well, if we're talking about legal tech, now is the time.
Now is the time. Jump at it.
As you've seen, like over the past 5 years, 10 years, this is the time. People are jumping into it. There's a ton of interest. Capital's behind it.
Right.
So just do it is really my message.
And take the chance, roll the dice.
Well, you got to be somewhat practical. Like I was with mine, trying to hedge things so that I can support my family. Because if you have a family, it's important to make sure you're there for them.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Tom.
Thank you, Kevin.